Where the fuck is my pop filter? Pop filter. Where is it? I'm gonna need it because I keep saying pop in the most obnoxious way. That's good. Yeah, I can see a peak here. A peak. Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, I can't find my fucking pop filter. Well, I use 2 pop filters. I use one sort of foam one around the mic, you know, like ASMR style. Yeah. Yeah, so I have one here. But then also I use a windshield kind of in front of the mic. And using those 2 in tandem, has done a lot to clean up my audio, over, you know, the last couple months that I've been doing this. But yeah, now I can't find my windshield. I don't know where it is. I have a sneaking suspicion it might be like behind one of my drawers on my desk. It sort of fell behind it. I'm not sure if that's the case. I'm not sure how the fuck I would get it out of there without moving the whole desk. And I don't want to do that. I'd rather just buy a new windshield. To be honest. But I'm also broke as fuck, so I'm gonna be out of a job soon. Wow. I've been writing job applications today. You know, because fucking coronavirus, you know, we're not getting in. So for those who don't know, I digitize VHS tapes, and, yeah, we're already not getting enough orders anymore because of coronavirus, understandably, and they just can't afford to hire me anymore, or to pay me anymore, so I'm gonna be fired. Or I was fired, so I'm gonna be let go in like 2 weeks. That sucks. I mean, I was considering quitting this job anyway already. I was, you know, looking for a home office job because I do really want to minimize. I guess we're talking Corona. This is a Corona podcast. Yeah. I do want to minimize trips between locations as much as possible. I just want to do my part, you know. I don't. Yeah. I don't want to be selfish. It's important, man. Yeah. So if you happen to know someone, like anyone looking for a person with my skill set, like video editing, audio engineering, I don't know, voiceover maybe. I'm not sure if I'm, if I can be considered someone who has voiceover skills. I guess I know some stuff. I don't know if they're maybe looking for freelance writers or something like that. I don't know. Anything I can do from home would be great. Yeah. He's not having money is gonna suck, especially in like the next couple months. Yeah. Speaking of jobs, I've been making video games for the last half year. Yeah, so I told a couple people about this. I announced it on YouTube as well, that I was, joining, like, a game design college program. And there's just a lot of stuff about it. It's so interesting. There's so much to talk about, and it's difficult to talk about it, like, on Twitter or something, because, you know, you don't want to throw people under the bus. You don't want to call anyone out online that you actually know in real life and stuff, over actually kind of serious stuff, you know. That's why I'm gonna do it here on Patreon. So what I will say, semesters in our class are always split into 2 halves. The first half is just lectures and exams and like assignments, like all the typical college shit, and then the second half is a project. Specifically make a game as a group. So you assemble a group of 5 and you make a game. And it works because every student is in one of 3 specializations. So you're either in design, programming, or art. And obviously the way you assemble your groups, you have to take that into account. So we've already formed our second group for this semester because of fucking Corona, because we can't actually do anything on location. The professors thought it was a good idea to just do the project now, to just do the project first, and then see what the fuck happens in the second half of the semester. Like, if we can do lectures on location and stuff. I kind of get their logic. I still think it's a fucking terrible situation. So, I don't know. Just the whole thing is going to be super slapdash as well. Like, I don't think anyone's going to put effort into their project, to be honest. A lot of people, they went home over the semester break, and now they can't come back to Germany. I mean, I live here. I live in Cologne. I live where the college is, thankfully. I'm actually one of the very few ones. Like, hang on. I know, like, 2 other students in my class who are from Cologne originally. So that's actually, it's surprisingly rare to be from Cologne. Like, most people moved here to study. Even, within Germany, yeah. We have a lot of Russian students as well. My girlfriend is from Russia. Shit, what the fuck was I saying? So yeah. A lot of people, are stuck, abroad, don't have their equipment, potentially. It's really shitty. Thankfully, that's right now not an issue with our group. And yeah, both groups I've been in, we've been, 2 designers, 2 artists, 1 programmer. Yeah, I'm, like, wondering what the workload, and, like, obviously I'm a designer, right, because I don't have any real skills. I don't have any practical skills. I just make shit up. And yeah, so yeah, same constellation this time. Major difference is that we have 2 2D artists this time instead of 1 3D, 1 2D. So we're just gonna make a 2D game. And it's gonna be the way it's handled is that every semester, not only do we get a broad topic that we sort of need to look at, but also there's just a even larger thing of, okay, the first semester we make a ludic game, and then this semester we're making a narrative-based game. I know they flipped some stuff around as well for us. I think the next semester is gonna be a multiplayer game, but we already, and I've talked about this as well, we already made a fighting game for our first project, our group. I'm gonna talk more about that as we go, but so we already satisfied the multiplayer criterion. I'm stupid. So I'm gonna have to make another multiplayer game next semester probably. It's so weird, like the thing. Oh, we make a fighting game, like it came about so easily, and now when the task is specifically make a fucking multiplayer game, I cannot think of anything. It's so odd. I guess I don't want to just make a fighting game again, Yeah. So 2D narrative-based game. I'm thinking right now I'm super passionate about the idea of like making like a PC 98 style kind of game with like full screen pixel art and just dialogue shit and menus and all this stuff, like a Snatcher or something, or like, I didn't play Valhalla, but kind of in that style maybe. That'd be kind of dope. And yeah, I've already I've already shown like stuff to the team along those lines, and like obviously we're still waiting for like the actual, the first day, the kickoff as they call it for the project is on Wednesday. I'm hoping this video comes out before then. Yeah, April 1st. And then we're gonna get like an actual topic. Last time our topic was changes, and then we got a subtopic. Every group got a subtopic on top of that. our subtopic was stock market. Um, fuck. I was honestly, when I was planning this in my head, I wanted to talk about other shit first, but I guess I can just go with that. It was really funny because we had to pull the subtopics from one of our lecturers just had like sheets of paper in her hand, and we had to pull one from her, and then each one had just a different topic on it. So I ran up. I wanted to be the first one to pull a topic, right? So I had the most available choices, and I pulled stock market, and we were all so disappointed. Like, oh my god, that sounds so dry. And I already explained this on the stream. Basically, when they explained the larger topic of changes to us, one image that they used is like the metamorphosis of a butterfly, and I immediately thought of To Pimp a Butterfly, like the album by Kendrick Lamar. And if you've listened to it, you know at the very end, Kendrick, so there's like a poem that runs throughout the whole album, but then at the very end there's another poem where he sort of explains the title and the significance of the butterfly imagery. And like that was super fucking just this vivid image in my head. I was like, whoa, dude, maybe you can do something like that. I don't know. I didn't have a specific idea yet. But then we got the stock market thing. And then, because my brain was already kind of on To Pimp a Butterfly, I remembered the other thing on the final track, which is the conversation between Kendrick Lamar and Tupac. Spoilers. See, I called out my good buddy Björn for not having finished the album on stream, like literally yesterday. I hope by the time he watched this, he's actually listened to the album, because now I spoil it. But yeah, basically Tupac is talking about this idea that I'm just gonna quote him literally, like the rich people, they grow so fat, they grow fatter and fatter, and become appetizing to the poor people. And like this image of like, and then he says like, yeah, the poor people are gonna open up a hole that will swallow the evil, right? So I had this like vivid image in my head, like of a game where maybe you were like some Yakuza guy, and you run around a town. It's like 80s neon inspired, and you just punch people and you get fatter and fatter. But then, because you have so much money on you, people will just start swarming you. Enemies will start swarming you and like try to kill you and stuff. So I think my first idea was like it's kind of an endless game or something, and you need to just survive as long as you can. And I presented that idea to the team, and then we said, okay, well, yeah, our programmer and our other designer, they suggested, hey, how about we make this a multiplayer game? Where just 4 people go up against each other, and they grow fatter and fatter, and fight and stuff. And at first I was like a little bit skeptical about that, because like fucking multiplayer game seems harder to make, than a single player game. I was definitely always concerned about scope, like at every step of the way. But I warmed to the idea very quickly, and I'm glad that they suggested it, because I'm actually happy that we went that route. It actually made the game, I think, more interesting. Because I think it reflects the, like, a stock market, like different factions fighting for supremacy, and then also, changes. There's like this constant ebb and flow between skinny and fat players and stuff. And then, shit, I think our programmer was the one who came up with the idea of having like an ATM in the middle of the arena, and actually, wait, no, yeah, I think, yeah, it was like a mix of his idea and my idea. I think what I said was like, yeah, at the end of the round, the thing is that the player with the most money on their person wins. So you store the money in the ATM to become, you consciously want to become skinny again, because that will give you certain advantages in combat. Like, you will be faster than fat players, you will be able to outmaneuver them. So that's, I mean, our tagline in the end was, wait, no. Our tagline was, like, get the cash, get the kilos, right? But also, I think we made, like, this how to play thing. And in there, I mean, I wrote the description that I said, but watch out, the bigger the boy, the harder the fall. Because, yeah, obviously, as a big guy, you're super strong, but you're very slow. That was sort of the balancing choice. So, the idea is that you strategically place the money in the ATM, and then at the last minute you get it all back to win the game. So you need to be very conscious of, like, the time and, like, the state of the game right now. And we have, I mean, I'm gonna show footage of the game right now on screen, because I still have just random gameplay on my computer. We have this, like, cool graph in the background where you can see sort of the stocks rising and falling and stuff. I'm really fucking proud of just the concept and the vibe, yeah, just the whole aesthetic that we went for. Our 2D art. Okay. That was my Amazon Echo. I'm not gonna say her name. Our 2D artist and also our 3D artist. They're both amazing. But yeah, Maria, 2D artist, she did sort of a lot of the general kind of concepts and stuff, and sort of with my input. And it's fucking amazing. I just love the style and, like, fuck. I mean, I kept saying as a joke, man, if I saw this game on the eShop on the Switch, I would buy it. Yeah. No bias. I would buy it. Yeah. Now, we had 4 characters planned with, like, the way they play is the same. I said very early on, yeah, it's, like, too ambitious. And, yeah, I guess I should say already, like, I clashed a lot with our other designer. And, I would just have a lot of... We would just have a lot of moments where I would say something and he would immediately shut me down, and it would be very difficult to talk about it, and, he just has a way of, like, not being very reasonable in discussions. Being very forceful with the way he would say things. And, like, me and him, and then also our programmer, we just did not have the same background in terms of games. There was a lot of things for me that I kind of took for granted, right? For example, I thought we could, like, have hitboxes and stuff, right? But then our programmer was like, yeah, it's too much work. In the end, it was okay, right? The system that with, like, a ray casting, whatever thing, that was fine. I don't have too many objections with that. Our other designer ended up handling the animations. And, like, he sort of used... It's really funny, the timing, because, a couple of days ago, the latest New Frame Plus video came out, where Dan explains the concept of anticipation in video games. And how you actually can't really use it, because, obviously in a video game you kind of expect the response from the button to be pretty instantaneous. Yeah, and I already, like, when I saw his animations, I was like, fuck, dude, like, he used very traditional animation principles of, like, super long wind-ups and then, you know, quick attacks, which, yeah, in theory looks good, but in practice it felt terrible to play. Now our programmer, sort of the way he implemented it is I could just manually tweak the speed of the animations and stuff. I couldn't, like, so, yeah, the way it was handled within Unity, Um, like there was like, okay, this part of the animation is the wind up, and this part of the animation is the recovery. I could have theoretically changed those percentages, but obviously it doesn't make sense with like how the animation just looks, right? So much of the animation is the wind up. Like had I made it so that the actual hit happens earlier than what is implied in the animation, it would just feel super awkward, right? So I had to just work with that. I just had to tweak. The only thing I could do was tweak the speeds and like the attack values and all that stuff. And like I remember first prototype with sort of the stock animations, people said yeah, it felt horrible, and then after I tweeted, it just got better and better. But it never was quite where I wanted it to be. And then when we last talked about the game like a week ago, obviously I was way nicer about it when I talked to him about it, but we both kind of agreed that yeah, if we had the time, we would just redo all the animations, because he saw that video and was like, oh fuck, I completely fucked it up. But yeah, so fourth character. Oh yeah, I guess I'm going all these tangents. The reason I sort of talked about our other designer was like he really wanted to have all the characters to have different moves and shit, and I just had to immediately tell him like, no dude, that's not realistic. And generally he kept having very unrealistic targets. And I guess that's one thing I definitely noticed with a lot of yeah, the other projects that I saw from like my co-students. This sounds really shitty, but like so the group that my girlfriend was in, for example, like that was one of the groups where I felt like yeah, that was like a super realistic target. And like it sounds like I'm just being nice because she's my girlfriend, but like no, I mean one of the lead designers there is like a really good friend of mine as well, and I could just tell he had a very clear idea of what is doable, and then they did it and they got it working really fast, and then most of their time making the game was just polish, right? Whereas for even our game was a little bit too complex, I think, for the time we had. And then one problem was that our programmer was like in Iceland for 2 weeks. Don't blame, but I don't begrudge him for that at all. But it was just unfortunate timing. And I was like the only person who helped him in Unity and stuff as well. Yeah, like the end phase of the project, I was like implementing a lot of the animations into Unity, and it was like handling a lot of the I'd already made the sound effects, right? That was one of my tasks, to just make the sound effects. But then I also had to handle the implementation to some extent, because he just didn't have time. And like I remember him like definitely being like a little bit disheartened that he had to handle so much shit on his own. So I definitely feel bad about that I didn't help him sooner as well. I guess that's really my biggest regret about this whole project, that we put so much on him. The project it took so long to come together, to be like a playable game. It only really became a playable game like toward the very, very end of the project. But then when it was playable, it was really playable. Like, it was actually surprising just how good the end product was. Now, yeah, we didn't get the final character, Ace, done. And it's really, really unfortunate because she's the only female character in the game. She was like one of our favorite characters, and she's like, we always refer to her. Like, yeah, so I picked the names. And we used to always refer to her as Boss Bitch. Right now our characters are Mark, Specky, Grease, and Ace. Yeah. But Ace, like I said, is not in the game. I guess see, we decided at first was like, yeah, hell yeah, we're gonna keep working on the project, but then a programmer was like, yeah, okay, you guys realize that I would have to do most of the work, and like that's not really fair, and I'm not really that super interested to put that much time into it, to be honest. Like, he had time to reflect after the break and stuff, and I totally get his perspective. I totally get it. So that's why I made the offer, okay, I just want to fix up a lot of the remaining, like, little fucking niggling issues that we didn't have time to fix before the final presentation and stuff. And then potentially, if we can get the animations done for Ace, we're gonna implement her and then release the game. So I guess I need to follow up with our other guy. You know, if he still wants to do the animations. My problem was, like, the game on the final day of the presentation, the game was not working for me in Unity. Like, something about Unity was just fucked up, and I finally fixed it, like, yesterday. So now I can actually change the stuff that I need to change in Unity. There was, like, for example, one of our characters, Grace, when he gets, obviously you get bigger as you get money, right? There's 5 forms. There's 5 body sizes, basically. I think when you get to, like, the 4th, like, either the 3rd or the 4th size, I think the 4th, his animations are in slow motion. And I know why. I know why that happened. But we didn't fix it before the showcase, and yeah, it was very frustrating. That was, like, the one biggest thing I wanted to fix. There's, like, other shit, yeah, that I need to look at. But that was the biggest one, for sure. Actually, the other thing I would like is, like, yeah, there was, like, one animation that was missing as well, that was not in the game. I would like to implement that. And then we're gonna release it. See, I guess there's, like, another case, I hate to just call him out, right, but, like, yeah, our other designer guy was like, yeah, dude, we're gonna keep working out, like, I'm so sure everyone wants to do this. And then when we were discussing it, see, I was on the same page at first, and then I slowly realized, actually, yeah, our programmer, he's right. And then, you know, the other designer, again, I'm not gonna name him, but he was still saying, yeah, I can, you know, I'm willing to, like, learn Unity and work on it and stuff, like, that's fine. Because that's what our programmer was, like, offering, that he would sort of teach the code to, like, 1 or 2 of us. And I was, like, when he said that, I was, like, intimidated. I was like, I don't know if that's, now that you've said all this stuff, I don't know if I want to keep working on this, yeah, to be honest. And then we left out, basically, with my suggestion, okay, I'm gonna fix, like, a lot of the remaining shit fucking issues. And then we're gonna see if the other guy wants to finish the animations for the final character. And, like, that's the thing. He said all the stuff, but I'm sure he did actually work on the animations now. Yeah. I'm sure he has not done anything on that since we talked. And, like, I mean, it's a lot of work, to be fair, but, like, it's just a little bit disingenuous to say, to, like, make all these big claims, and then not act on it, you know? And that was, like, the case over the whole project, kind of. Yeah. And, man, like, a lot of the problems that I had in the project were because of miscommunication with them, as well. Ugh, dude, it was a whole thing. But, man, once we finally showed the game, we had, like, so we had our presentation to the professors, but then after that, we had a big showcase where, we just had this big hall where all the games were displayed on TV setups. And, like, we had a big TV, it was a multiplayer game, we had a couch, and it was so packed the whole time. And the thing I really the main takeaway that I had is like, man, people were actually thinking about what they're doing when they played our game. They were actually like trying to make strategies. They were actually strategic. Well, I mean, you've seen the game now. It's an arena fighting game. And there's like different kinds of shit happening in the arena, like different spots where you get money, and there's power ups, and all the stuff. And like I could just see people like thinking about where they need to go, thinking about how they need to attack, thinking about when to use the ATM. And that sounds so basic, right? But like, that's not something I was seeing with a lot of the other projects I'm gonna talk about. But yeah, I could just tell, man, like the design that we had actually paid off. Like we had like an idea for how we wanted people to play the game, and it actually came to pass. Like that was like it was so fucking rewarding and so satisfying to see people have fun with the game. And oh man, like I mean, I've made a lot of YouTube videos that got thousands of views, nice comments, all this shit. But this was definitely like the most fucking rewarding creative thing I've ever done, to be honest. Like yeah. And like the people just responded to the aesthetic and the style and the humor of the game so well. And oh fuck. Yeah. There's just thinking about it. Like that's the thing. That's why I wanted to keep working on it. You know, like I was so fired up that night. And the presentation was cool as well. We were all wearing like wearing shirts and ties and stuff to fit, you know, the whole business theme. Fuck, man. It was badass, yeah. So I'm really proud of it. I'm excited to release the game like on itch for free, and just post a link on Twitter and like shout everyone out and stuff. Obviously it's not as polished as I would like it to be. That's the thing. I think the idea just has so much potential. If we could make it a real ass full fucking game, God, that would be amazing. Maybe like in a couple years, you know, when everyone fucking finds it in themselves again when they have time.
It's bad. There are fewer and fewer people in the city these days.
That's the thing. I think, yeah, I would like,
but humans aren't living alone.
I would revisit the concept, but probably just make it again from scratch, you know? Maybe not the 2D art. Well, actually, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm thinking everyone who is involved in it, they're just gonna grow so much more creatively over the next couple years. Like Maria especially. I'm realizing I didn't call like the guy I was talking shit about. I didn't call him out by name at all, but I keep saying Maria's name because I only speak positively of her. That's so funny. Wow. Well, anyway. Like she's very hard on herself. And I don't like nobody really understands why. Like her art is amazing and yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking, yeah. And I still think the arena, like, our 3D artist, SG, obviously handled that, and fuck, man, it looks so fucking cool. And I love the models as well, like, they have so much personality. Even though they are simplistic, you know? But the arena looks fucking awesome. I wouldn't want to change the arena, to be honest. Ah, man. Like... That's the thing. I would definitely maybe redo the code completely, and that's I guess the impression I get is our programmer is not so passionate about it. and that's why maybe maybe it's possible to like get someone else on board if we revisit the idea. I don't know. We'll see. Most likely not, but it is a little bit sad, because the idea, the concept, the premise of the game is so fucking cool. Not I mean, yeah, like it was my idea, so I don't want to pat myself on the back too much, but I mean that's the thing. I couldn't have done it without the rest of the team. Even the guy I keep complaining about, like he had good ideas, and he brought his skills to the table. He learned to animate in Blender for this project. So yeah, pretty cool. About what I was saying about the other projects though, like, there's just a lot of patterns that I noticed. Lots of people making platformers. And like, you know how the fucking the first level of Super Mario 64 does not have a bottomless pit? Like, it does not have anything that will kill you instantly. Like, I played at least 2 games that, like 2 of the, how many games were there? I don't even know. Wait, we're 40 people in our class. We have groups of 5. So it has to be, like 8 groups, right? 8 games. Hang on, let me think about this. So did the math again? Yeah, there's 8 games. I was correct. And like 2 of them were platformers, right? And in just both games, I saw so many just levels that were just floating platforms, like strings of floating platforms, and you had to jump between them, and then if you fall, you die. And it's like not level design, and like even when we were making our project, right? So at first, the heavier forms had like ice physics basically to make them feel more sluggish, and that was not my idea. That was like what sort of our programmer and our other designer kind of came out with. And I was like, from the start, I was against it. I was against it like immediately, right? I said, yeah, I do not like the way this feels. And so I don't know. Like I sort of agreed with the idea, like, oh yeah, the characters have to be slow and like sluggish. But like I think making them hard, like genuinely just hard to control, and like making them unresponsive in a fighting game seems like a bad choice. But like at no point did they actually listen to me. It was not until until the game got further along where they played with the ice physics that they kind of realized, yeah, actually that was a bad idea. And there was like, oh fuck, we had another thing where, see, and this is where you can see what a fucking genius game designer I am. Okay, hang on. It was like, so our other guy had this idea that there's like an airstrike that will just kill you, unless you are in the save zone, right? It's just a tiny green save zone, and when you're in the save zone, you can push other players out and stuff like that. Was sort of the idea. I kind of got the concept, but to me, it feels very irritating when the game sort of blatantly forces me to do something, right? I'm not making like a strategic choice. I don't feel like I'm like strategically deciding, yeah, I need to go here because that's advantageous. It's just, no, I need to go there or else I will die. And I kind of explained my gripe from that perspective to him. Like, and it took some convincing until he sort of budged on it, because so what I suggested is to instead say, hey, what if we have an area where you just get money instead? Like, you have a character showing up and they throw money around. I think my idea was like a guy on a bus or something busts in and then he jumps out of the bus and like throws money. That's not what we went with. We ended up with like a bull, because reference to the stock market, like bull market. I don't even know. So there's the green zone where you get more money, and you can push players out of the green zone. That they won't get money, and like you have this experience of like congested chaos because everyone wants to get the bonus money. But without the frustration of being forced to go here or die. So it accomplishes kind of the same thing in gameplay, but it feels rewarding instead of frustrating. And then only when I like completely laid it out like that, he sort of agreed with me. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, I get the sense it's often just very hard. Like, yeah, for a lot of my co-students, it was hard to convince them to prioritize fun rather than making the game super fucking annoying. I saw just way too much, there was like another game, it was an adventure kind of game, where art very beautiful but very difficult to read. It was very difficult to actually fucking see where you are and like see which platforms are like permissible and all this shit. It was a 2D kind of platformer / adventure game, right? You need to grab items and like use them to interact with the environment. And like stuff like kills you instantly, and it's very obtuse and like it's so easy to justify it by saying that, oh, it's like supposed to be challenging or something. But see, and I know this sounds basic, right? I know this sounds really, really basic to say, oh yeah, games should be fun and shouldn't be challenging, quote unquote, for the sake of it. The challenge should not be done in a cheap way. But I feel like there was just such a fundamental misunderstanding of a lot of those things, among my co-students. My students? I'm not the fucking professor. Yeah. There was very little implementing stuff with, like, a specific intent, I think that's what, yeah, that's, what I kind of missed from a lot of the other projects. Like, this other game that I mentioned that my girlfriend was working on, right? It's a game where it's basically imagine Papers, Please, but you have to kill people. It's like the French Revolution, and you have to drag people to like a guillotine, and you need to figure out the correct like you need to pick the right people sort of from a list of like laws, essentially. And it was a super immediate, like, simple concept, and they experimented with like different things and realized actually that doesn't work. Let's not do that. It's like not fun. And that's the right attitude, just throw out stuff that's not fun. Focus on the fun first and then build the challenge naturally from there. And I remember sort of trying to explain that to some of my co-students in, like, obviously a nice way, right? Nicer than I am right now. And they took a lot of, like, they just took the wrong lessons from a lot of what I said. Like, there was one game where I thought, yeah, the controls are kind of interesting, like, it's kind of physics and momentum. Well, it wasn't true physics, but, like, it was kind of momentum based, and, like, your character was hard to control, but that was kind of the point a little bit, which I thought was cool. But the level design just did not permit any mistakes. You could not make any mistakes. You would just, like, at any kind of obstacle, the way the obstacles were designed, they would just kill you instantly, right? There was no fucking leeway in that regard. You didn't like have a health bar or something. There wasn't like obstacles that are more or less dangerous. It was just bottomless pits everywhere. And when you die, you just start at the checkpoint. And it's so, like, I'm like, it's my classic thing of like, yeah, I'm failing the same thing 100 times, and then at some point I get it, and like that experience didn't actually make me better at the game, you know? It just made me better at that one gap in the floor, you know? Not even, you know? It feels like just trial and error, you know? It feels like random luck a lot of the time. And I really blame a lot of that on the way our fucking education and our lectures are structured. I feel like this first semester had a huge fucking emphasis on art and programming to some extent, but then the programming lectures were kind of like, for the programmers, super fucking useless because they already all know this shit, and for everyone else it was way too fast. Yeah, like, I mean, I'll talk about this later. And then we have 2 art lecturers. Actually, yeah, I think I made a joke tweet about this on Twitter. One of our lecturers, she's super fucking awesome. I love her. She worked on some like super legit games as well. She like did animations on time splitters and stuff like that. It was really fun, cool. And like she worked for Lionhead as well, for a couple years. And I love her lectures. It's very practical, very hands-on. She definitely tries to like teach you principles, you know. And we learned stuff about perspective and animation, and like I had to do the classic thing with the bouncing ball, you know, and like I had to once it came to the task of making the bouncing ball, I actually had a good idea of what the fuck I needed to do. You know, I feel like I had a good basis to work with. Then our other art guy, he just goes through random stuff. Like, oh, here are examples of fucking cool fonts or whatever, you know? His lectures are so shit. It's so basic, and like I don't feel like I learn anything. And then, but the biggest thing really is like we have this huge emphasis on art and programming, but like barely any design. Like we have, we would have sort of one slot for design, once a week, compared to, you know, we had like 2 slots for programming and 2 for art, or more even sometimes. Actually no, I think we have like 2 lectures a day. And we have 3 days. So yeah, that math works out. But then some weeks we wouldn't even have design, you know, sometimes. And I feel like just the way the design lectures are structured as well is like we didn't really learn any like basic principles yet. A lot of it was just sort of kind of small introduction to some fucking topic, and then okay, do a presentation on a game of your choice. Sort of trying to analyze this, but we didn't actually learn how to analyze anything, you know. Wait, what the fuck did we do? Oh yeah, see. Yeah, our first task in the very first lecture, I remember that. That was like, see that, I remember that because that's when I like started to make friends a little bit. The first task was like design a game with a single button. And I still think the concept that we came up with was pretty cool. Basically, there's like there's an aquarium in the middle, and you have this little boy, and he's running around the aquarium, right? Aquarium, I think that's how you said. And your goal is to lead the fish inside the aquarium out of there by knocking on the walls. So they just they will swim toward the wall that you're knocking against. And then you have to just, you know, they move on a grid, and you have to lead them toward the exit. And the idea is that, okay, you change the direction of your character by tapping, and then you knock by holding the button. And then there's like a guard, also walking alongside, like walking along the aquarium with you, and they would speed up every time you knock. That was the basic concept. It was like it's a single button, and you're making choices, and the arena is kind of randomized, and like it's very pick and play. Like the game is kind of dynamic. You do have to sort of readjust what you're doing constantly. I was pretty proud of that we came out with that. And it was like, yeah, so most of the design was me and my friend that I mentioned earlier, who did the game with the French Revolution. It was like this very slow process of like me and him sort of going back and forth and like sort of discussing ideas. Would that work, yes or no? That was really cool and that was really fun. That's how we became friends. So you can tell I really respect him. I respect him, my girlfriend, everyone else on his team, most people on my team, but no one else. Shit. So yeah, we did that, right? Presented that in class. And our lecturer was like, you know, just nodding along. But then we didn't really get feedback, and we didn't do anything with that, you know? We didn't do anything with what we did. He didn't ask us, okay, learn this and this and that from this experience. Because there was, like, bad ideas in that fucking, in that exercise. I think we had, like, the best idea. You know, we had, like, an idea for a game that was an actual game. You know, it was, like, you're making choices, and despite the fact that it's just using a single button. And there was so much very simplistic stuff that I saw that was not really creative at all. And, yeah, then the next design thing that we did was analyze the loop of a game of your choice. And in my group, we went with Mega Man X because of, you know, I was the only one who had actually played it, but you could tell I'm very good at forcing my will down everyone else's throat. No, it was more like I just explained sort of the basic flow of the game, and they kind of agree with me. Oh yeah, that's like an easy game to analyze because like you get new weapons and shit, and you can freely choose the levels. So there's like a very clear loop. Did that. I'd say that exercise actually across the board went way better. For a lot of the other groups as well. But still, we didn't do anything with it. And that was basically all of the design we did. Like, I keep being asked about, oh, what do you do in the design lectures? It's like, there's like barely anything to talk about. And then we came to do the projects, and I feel like a lot of people just did not have any kind of basis to work off. And like, I mean, with our other designer guy, right? I mean, he based his animations on traditional animation principles because he didn't learn how to make animations for an action game, you know, which is what we should have done. I don't know. And like, I mean, I remember like one of the first things I did was research timings for animations. I like looked at Fury because Fury is like has like a kind of a similar perspective to our game, right? So I was thinking that would be like a good template, a good blueprint. Obviously, Fury was still way too fast. Because obviously, it's, you know, our game is a fighting game, so you need to be able to react to the attack. So you need to kind of find a middle ground to what you would see an enemy do in a single player game and what you would see the player do in a single player game. That's sort of how we design it. See, I mean, I guess,
That's container repair spray.
see, and,
Containers.
okay, I guess
Good for
the
dealing
thing with
with
our game is, like, it's a arena fighting game where you can
useful
just go in
stuff
any
for your
direction.
cargo have been through the ringer. We've added it to your supplies list, so it's readily available.
Most fighting games obviously have some kind of block instead of a dodge. I didn't want a block because I thought it would just slow down the pace of the combat too much, and yeah, I didn't want you to passively block and then wait for a chance to attack, you know? Because I realized we wouldn't have jumping, we wouldn't have really highs and lows and all this stuff. Like, all this stuff just wouldn't fit our scope, but also potentially not just fit our game, you know? Like, I mean, Power Stone has a jump, but it doesn't have high and low attacks. And Power Stone doesn't have a block either, because Power Stone was a game that I researched, just for ideas. And I very quickly just realized, yeah, I don't want to block. You know, I think the way with the context-sensitive dodges, it makes the most sense for an arena fighting game. But then obviously the block is there for a reason, because it makes it way easier to just react to fast attacks. And then a fast attack from another player in, like, a Street Fighter is not so punishing. It's punishing when they actually manage to land a full combo. So that it just presents a super unique challenge for an arena fighting game that you don't have with a regular fighting game. I think we handled it okay, all things considered, but, like, there's definitely stuff we could have still done better. And that's the thing, like, you know, I was thinking, yeah, if we had more time, if we spend more time on this game, I would actually rethink some of the design. The thing I found during the showcase for sure is that the game was it would get a little bit too lopsided too quickly. It was hard for a skinny player to catch up with a big player, and that was obviously not really the intent, right? You should kind of have an advantage, like well, that's the thing. I guess there's pros and cons to each form, and it definitely was the case that as a big guy, it was hard to hit the small guys. If you kind of knew what you were doing, you could actually easily avoid the big guys. So it definitely matched our intent. But still, if you, at some point you would just be outpaced by such a huge margin, that I think the game would just be kind of frustrating, and that's something I would have wanted to look at had we spent more time on it, had we decided to spend more time on it. I lost my track of thought completely. My train of thought? Like, why the fuck did I talk about all this stuff now? About the blocking. I researched animations for Fury. Wait. Oh yeah, our guy applied classic animation principles because he didn't learn how to make proper animations for action games. And see, I talked to my girlfriend about this a lot, and she's like pretty optimistic, like, yeah, dude, we're all gonna learn from this experience, like, they're gonna apply the lessons that they learned while making the game and stuff, blah blah blah. But I don't know. I kept saying to her, like, I don't know, I'm really not sure if that's true. Like, I'm really not sure if they actually did learn the right lessons, because we didn't even get the grades yet, you know? And like, you don't get the grades until super late as well. I think I was told, like, last semester they got the grades, like, when they were starting the next project, or, like, ending the next project even. I don't know. It was crazy. Like, what are they supposed to learn? Like, I mean, one of the games that was kind of shitting on, that was like, oh, bottomless pits everywhere and you just die instantly. It's like super polished. It looks fucking amazing. The 3D art and, like, the programming, like, the programmer on it is super fucking genius from Taiwan. It's fucking crazy. like they have, and like the response was uniformly positive. It was like mostly, that's the thing. Me and my girlfriend, we would talk about it in private. It's like, yeah, like everything about the game is like amazing except the actual game. Except actually playing it. Like we both agreed it's like frustrating in a bad way, and like it's not interesting. It's not really fun. I'm just jumping over platforms, you know. Um. Um. But like they have no reason to assume that they need to go back to the drawing board, you know, from the response that they got. And I don't know, dude. Yeah. That's why I'm not optimistic that they will learn the right lessons. And I'm just really so from the third semester onwards, we actually we only, well, yeah. So as a designer, for example, I would not get any more art lectures after the second semester, or any programming lectures. You mostly just get stuff for your specialization. So I'm really curious what that's gonna look like. Like how the design lectures are gonna look. But like, see as well, like the thing that I also kept sort of being very on the fence about is the fact that we don't get to make another ludic game again. You know, we don't get another stab at this really. Like some of our semesters are focused on mixed reality, VR, all this stuff. So like when like I feel like it's just not, this kind of stuff is just not a priority. Actual game design is not a priority in our school. It feels like maybe I'm too pessimistic. I mean, the fucking corona thing now happened, and like I'm super worried like how that's gonna affect the schedule. I don't know, man. Like I want to learn how to make levels, you know. There was a seminar on it last semester, like winter, like November, I think. Yeah. Profile week is what it was called. Yeah, you could just choose like different seminars and stuff. There was a seminar on level design, like using Quake as a basis. Like you would just make a Quake level, and that was the one that interested me the most. But I couldn't fucking go because of work. And oh, dude, I hope I can go this semester. Who knows? That'd be great. Yeah, I want to like that's the number one thing I want to learn. I want to learn how to make levels, because that seems like such an impossible skill to me, like such an abstract thing. I think I have a grasp on what I like about mechanics. You know, what kinds of mechanics I like. I'm just thinking, how the fuck do I guide a player through a level? How do I make a level that's like that makes visual sense and like is appealing, but also like that flows good and like that emphasizes the right stuff. Like it sounds really fucking hard, man. It sounds really fucking hard. That sounds like the hardest thing to me, and that's why with a fighting game I sidestepped that. And I guess with the fighting game, with Big Boy Shakedown, the thing I liked about it as well is that it was a complete game. You know, it was. I mean, obviously it was not finished. It was not like it was not super polished. It's not like ready to be sold at all. But it's not a game that needs like more levels before you see what it is. You know, it's not a game where like it's like the full thing basically. What you see of the game is the game, right? Whereas with all the like, there's so much shit that I saw where it's like, yeah, this is like an idea that we have. There's like different transformations and shit, and then you're gonna use it for puzzles. But I didn't see any of the puzzles. You know, I didn't see a single puzzle. I only saw like the vague sort of engine of it, basically, right? And yeah, I don't know, man. So I guess I sound really negative about it, right? I don't regret this at all, because it's still like an opportunity that I wouldn't otherwise have, and like I'm connecting with people and opportunities that I wouldn't otherwise be able to, right? That's the crucial thing. It's less the lectures, it's less like the framework of it. You kind of, with like I've sort of arranged myself with the idea that I just have to deal with that, right? And I have to accept how it is. But I can still make cool shit. Is the thing. Like, it has not limited my ability to make cool shit.
Can't this thing work any faster?
And I guess that's the most important thing, right? So yeah, dude. I'm still hype. I'm super worried about the semester, how that's gonna go. I don't know. Definitely want to make a PC 98 game. Definitely want to make something like Snatcher. That would be super cool. That'd be super dope. But I guess, I mean, we still need to wait for like our theme. Yeah. I guess I would. I mean, we had like one Discord call with the team on Friday, and I think I said what I said was like, yeah, obviously we're making a narrative-based game, but I would like to make something where it feels like you have where your input kind of matters, and I feel like no one really understood what I meant because everyone immediately assumed that I mean like branching paths and stuff in the story. I don't mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be branching paths. I even like when just your input gives the story like a different tone, you know? Or like it makes you think about something. I think that's more important than anything. I said to my, this time I'm working with my girlfriend as well, which is very cool. By the way, she draws. She's a 2D artist. She's amazing. I love her. She's the best. Yulia, if you listen to this, I love you. Please follow her. Please check out her stuff. But yeah, I showed her the Donkey Kingdom Hearts video, right? As a joke. Because she has not played any Kingdom Hearts. And then I was like, dude, we should make that. We should make like a stupid anime game. Just a really fucking dumb anime story. That makes no fucking sense. Like, about getting the crystals or something. All this shit. I'm thinking either that, or Snatcher, or like Asura's Wrath or something. I don't know, dude. You know what I just realized? We can't fucking use the sound studio in our school. Because of Corona. We used that a lot last time. Wow. That's fucked up. Sheesh. What the fuck are we gonna do? Am I gonna have to fucking do all the sounds like here? In my fucking room? Oh my god, dude. Wow. Yeah. I guess that's it, man. I guess that's everything I wanted to talk about. I mostly wanted to use this as an outlet to, like, shit on people, for sure. Yeah. Obviously, I say that in jest. I'm just saying, like, a lot of this stuff is just kind of sensitive, you know? I don't want to really discuss it on Twitter and stuff. Yeah. So, please don't fucking dox me, okay? Yeah. I guess I'll see you guys. Oh, it's so yeah. It's like Monday, like, it's like 1 a.m. on Monday now. Yeah, I have enough time to like record the next video and then release both on Tuesday. Dude, that's great. Yeah, I'm gonna do it like that. Yeah, I'm gonna record the next one tomorrow. Well, no, after work, yeah, when I get home. Well, basically the same day. Yeah. Fuck, dude. I mean, they're gonna come out at the same time, so there's no point, like, quote-unquote, spoiling it because you saw it anyway. but I'm just gonna say the other videos on DMC3. I'm gonna review DMC3, sort of based on the Switch version that recently came out. Yeah. Because just weirdly, I had a lot of new thoughts on DMC3. I feel like I've solidified my thoughts a little bit more. Even though it's such a fucking classic game, you know, that I've played a billion times now. And also, obviously, the style switching is like an interesting thing to talk about. I guess, yeah, it just puts things in a different perspective. Yeah. So look forward to that. I mean, you know, maybe you watch the DMC3 video first. Whoa, it's like just trippy mind games, dude, on this fucking channel. Okay, YOLO, see you.